I was born in 1973. So that means during the 1980s, I was a young guy. And one of the memorable movies from the 80s, Ghostbusters, right? The very first one. And I remember the theme song, Who You Gonna Call? Now, why do I say this? Because today we're talking about who you gonna call. Who are you gonna call? So here's where we go. Hi, I'm Aaron. Welcome to Unapologetics. Who are you going to call? Now, here's where I'm going with this, everyone. This pandemic has got me thinking about who you're going to call. Who are you going to put your trust in? And this actually indicates the kind of the war, the conflict, the struggle between modernity and in God. Let's say that. The struggle between belief in God and belief in modern stuff. Now, what do we mean by that? Well, let's think about it. When it gets dark in modern America, we flip on a light switch. When it's, when we need to talk to someone, we call, or when we need someone, we're sick, we go to the doctor and get modern medicines, which are all beautiful. Thanks be to God. I think technology and medicine are gifts from God because of the creativity God gave to us and stuff. So don't get me wrong, I'm no Luddite. But what I mean by this is that when we start relying upon all of these things, we start thinking about our position in the universe less. Oh, for goodness sakes, it used to be a thing when you needed rain, you would seed a cloud with silver oxide and rain might come. I'm from Wyoming. They used to do that in the up above Du Bois and Togety Pass in the mountains. Now, on the other side of that, we have this need to rely upon God. We have these commands and promises, therefore, from God that says, fear not, which fear not is the most common, the most often repeated command in the Bible, by the way. Not be nice or, don't be afraid. Trust in God. But you know what? It's sometimes easy to forget about God when we think that we have everything we need provided for us through technology and in modern society and peace and assurance and wonderful police officers and wonderful medical personnel and hospitals and wonderful fire departments and pharmacists, all of these beautiful people and highway workers and electricity. But then comes something crazy like COVID-19, which reminds us that boy, sometimes we're not as invincible as we think we are. Today, it's a Saturday. April and I would like to go. We would like to go down to a store and look for mitts for getting stuff out of the oven, but we decided not to because we don't want to take a chance of getting COVID. And it's at times like this that we need to remember that God is above all of this. God is with us in all of this. We can fear not in all of this. Thanks be to God and bless God for the creativity and the smarts of people who invent things. But let's take the struggle out of this. Let's remember that the world is oftentimes out of our control. In life, we've been kind of living in a bubble here in America. The rest of the world's been taking punches on the chin for hundreds of years, and we're kind of sitting pretty. So let's not take that for granted. Let's say, thank you, God, for the blessings that we have. And try to bless someone else who may be going through something terrible. Let's trust in God. Let's have faith and fear not. Realize the bad stuff gonna come. Trouble's gonna come. Struggles and trials and death and heartache gonna come. But in the midst of that, we have a God who is with us. And let me close with this. As Christians, we worship a God, Jesus, who is crucified. The one we worship is the crucified God, not the God who was super victorious and too important to suffer, too impervious to be hurt, too arrogant to walk with us. We follow, we worship, we belong to the God of suffering, who in Jesus picked up our suffering and took it upon himself so that we might rely upon him. So today, as COVID spikes in our country, trust in God. Thank him for the blessings you have. Fear not, and use your head. He gave you a brain. You reflect him in that. Thanks. See you next time.